today's class I'm back with writing task 1. आज की क्लास में मैं आपको जो ग्राफ्स हैं उनको एक्सप्लेन करूंगी how you can write impressively about all graphs. For the today's class I have a line graph. इसमें एक multiple line graph है and you can see the data is really too much और देखने में भी काफी सिंपल लग रहा है कि सारी लाइंस हैं almost parallel लग रही हैं, लेकिन still you have to write something about this graph, so आपको explain करूंगी how you can write it. Today's question is, the line graph below gives information about the percentage of women aged 15 to 64 in employment between 2003 and 2009. As you know, आपको इसमें 150 plus words लिखने हैं. You can't write below 150 words. If we take a look at the graph, you can clearly see that there are 5 countries. Iceland on the top, then comes Canada on the second position, Germany, Chile, and on the bottom is Turkey with the lowest data. तो आप अब इस ग्राफ को किस तरह डिवाइड करोगे? व्हेन देयर आर अबाउट 4 टाइम पीरियड्स, 2003 से लेके 2009 तक आपको टाइम पीरियड गिवन है, तो आप इसको किस तरह से राइट करोगे? आपको इस पूरे डेटा को 2 बीपीज में राइट करना है, BP1 एंड BP2. तो सबसे पहले यू विल हैव टू लुक एट द ग्राफ कि हम किस तरह से इसको BP1 में कौन सा कंटेंट रखे और BP2 में कौन सी लाइंस हैं जिसको डिस्क्राइब करेंगे. तो जैसे कि I will say कि आपको BP1 में हमेशा highest and lowest data को ही राइट करना चाहिए. The highest data over here is of Iceland, तो आप BP1 में Iceland को डिस्क्राइब करोगे और उसके जो चारों ईयर्स हैं उसके बारे में राइट करोगे. एंड that of Turkey also, टर्की का भी लोएस्ट डेटा है, उसको भी आप BP1 में ही राइट करोगे कि पहले वो थोड़ा ज्यादा था, then it declined and inclined little bit till the end. तो ये चारों टाइम पीरियड्स में आप टर्की का डेटा भी एक्सप्लेन करोगे. जब आपने BP1 राइट करना है, आप आइसलैंड का पूरा डेटा लिखोगे 1 to 2 सेंटेंसेस में. 4 के 4 टाइम पीरियड्स है उसको आप इलैबोरेट कर दोगे एंड देन आप टर्की का डेटा भी लिखोगे और 4 के 4 टाइम पीरियड्स BP1 में राइट कर दोगे. लेकिन जब आप BP2 में जाएंगे तो बची हुई लाइंस है उनके बारे में आपने राइट करना है. इट मीन्स आपको कनाडा, जर्मनी एंड चाइल्ड के बारे में राइट करना है. बट इन दिस केस यू विल मेक इंट्रा कंपैरिजन. आपने BP1 में इंटर कंपैरिजन किया था. इंटर कंपैरिजन का मतलब होता है एक ही कंट्री को लिया और उसके अलग अलग टाइम पीरियड्स को कंपेयर कर दिया. इसलिए मैंने बोला BP1 में आइसलैंड लोगे और उसके चारों टाइम पीरियड्स को कंपेयर करोगे, देन टर्की लोगे उसके 4 कंपैरिजन करोगे. तो ये आपका इंटर कंपैरिजन था कि उस कंट्री का खुद के साथ ही कंपैरिजन था. बट इन BP2 यू विल हैव टू शो योर स्किल्स, तो आप इंट्रा कंपैरिजन करोगे, मतलब कंट्रीज के बीच में कंपैरिजन चलेगा. अब लाइक यू विल टेक 2003 एंड आप कनाडा, जर्मनी और चाइल्ड का डेटा इसमें कंपेयर करोगे. सेम वे यू विल डू फॉर रेस्ट ऑफ द टाइम पीरियड्स. आपने एक कंट्री लेके उसका पूरा डेटा नहीं लिखना. होप आप इस चीज को समझ गए हो, क्योंकि उन्होंने आपको ये इंस्ट्रक्शन दिए होते हैं मेक कंपैरिजन वेयर पॉसिबल. तो कंपैरिजन 2 तरह के हैं, आपको दोनों तरह के कंपैरिजन करके बताने. नाउ आई विल शो यू द आंसर्स एंड एक्सप्लेन कि मैंने इसको किस तरह से इम्प्रेसिवली राइट किया है, सो दैट स्टूडेंट कैन ग्रैब देयर डिजायर्ड बैंक स्कोर्स. नाउ दिस इज द सैंपल आंसर ऑफ योर क्वेश्चन. इसमें मैंने आपको सारा आंसर राइट करके बताया है कि किस तरह आप राइट कर सकते हो. एज यू नो, in task 1 you have to write 4 paragraphs. First one is introduction, second is overall, third is BP1 and fourth is BP2. So now I will read the answer. The multiple line graph represents the ratio of working women between the age group 15 to 64 years in first decade of millennium in 5 countries. You can clearly see I have given whole information about the graph. I have told that this is a multiple line graph and the data is about working women. I have also given the age group, and for the time period I have not written from 2002 to 2009. I have written in very different way in the first decade of the millennium. And for the countries I have written 5 countries. I have not given the name of the countries. I have written that the data is for 5 countries. For overall, a negligible change is observed in employability of females in all countries, with minimal rise in Chile, Canada, and Germany. Iceland is the nation with the maximum number of women in jobs, although Turkey gave position to the least women, which declined with time for both countries. In overall, I have written about the trend of the data. I have told that all the countries observe the same data with a minimal rise in three countries, that's Chile, Canada and Germany. It means the rise in these three countries very less, and for Iceland the data is maximum, and for Turkey it is the least, but both these countries declined with time. The data has dropped. I have also written this thing, so you can see I have told about all the main feature which happened in this graph. BP1, apparently more than 80% of women got employment in Iceland in 2003, which declined below 80% in 2005 to reach at 72% in 2009. Like I told you earlier, मैंने इसमें आइसलैंड के बारे में सारा डिस्क्राइब किया है about the time periods. I have taken 2003, 5 and 9. Because I thought 2007 is not important, because the fall is very negligible, so it was not genuine to write it in the data. I have only written about Iceland. However, a quarter of workforce in Turkey comprised of females in the initial year, but in 2005 it fell to a fifth and remained at the same figure till 2009. You can see in this I have not written the data in numbers, but I have told the fractions, because it is also important that sometimes you write the fraction where possible. Clearly you can see the data is 25% in 2003, so I have written a quarter, and in by 2009 it became about 20%, so I have written a fifth. For BP2, moving further, the numbers for Germany and Canada remained the same and moved parallel throughout the period, but Canada exceeded the percentage against Germany with 68% for the former nation and 10% less for the later land. Now I have given a lot of information in this sentence. It is a complex sentence. You can see I've made a comparison between two countries, Germany and Canada, because I have taken these countries because the line is almost parallel for the two countries. You can see the red line and the line with the triangle is moving parallel. I've written the same thing over here, that they are moving side by side. But you can also notice this, that data for Canada is more than Germany, and I have given the figure for Germany, that is 68%, and I have made a comparison between these two and written that for the other land the data is 10% less. I have not written 58%, but I have told that it is 10% less. For the last country, that is Chile, surprisingly, Chile experienced an improvement in employment distribution of women at 35% in first year, 40% in second year and 42% in 2009. You can see from a first look of the data that Chile is the only country which is experiencing a good improvement in the data. So I have written it with surprisingly, which is a adverbial conjunction, and then I have explained every year of Chile in one sentence. I have written it separately because the data is impressive of this country because it is rising. I have written the same feature in BP2's last sentence. Hope you understand this practice test and would find it helpful while writing your own graphs.